Hi Flosstube friends, welcome to my channel, North of the Border Stitcher. My name is Sherry. I live in Raymond, Alberta, but I'm from York, Pennsylvania. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome, and I hope you subscribe. And if you've come back and you're one of my followers, welcome back, and I'm glad to see you. So, my goal, of course, was to film on the first Wednesday of the month. And that day came and went, and so here we are on the second Friday of the month. But I guess it's better that I make a video regardless of when it is, just to let y'all know how I'm doing and the projects that I'm working on, and to just talk a little bit about what my life is like here in Canada. This is Flosstube number 32, and my original notes said, wow, it's February already, but now it's almost halfway through February. So what I've been doing since my last Flosstube is I went to a quilt retreat here in town in January, and I actually finished 3 projects. I was pretty happy, right? It was a Thursday through Saturday, and most of the time I was able to be there. And I finished the valance that I wanted to sew for my kitchen window. And so that's hanging up. I used the biggest check. I think I might have shown the fabric before, but it looks really nice up there. But I might just make a curtain part out of the smaller print for the bottom of the window. Not sure yet, but anyway, I got that valance done. And I finished the second, this is the second top of a trip around the world quilt that I actually started in 1993. Okay, this is how long it takes me to finish things, people. So it made 2 quilt tops from the strips, and I finally got them all sewn together, and then I was sewing the rest of the fabrics together for the backing for the 2 quilts. This fabric actually matched my bedroom back in 1993, which is not the colors of my bedroom now. So I might finish it and use it as a spring like table topper. And the second one like this, I think I might send to one of my granddaughters in Texas. She's hoping to come up and visit me this summer, but I think she would love it. The other one on her bedroom wall. This was a bear of a project because I started in 1993. I'm not sewing it on the same machine. I don't know how small my stitches were, but they were very close together. And my 1/4 of an inch was not a true 1/4 of an inch. It was mostly an 1/8 of an inch a lot of places. So when I was trying to sew the strips together, I had to stop and resew a lot of the squares with the, the bigger seam allowance so that they would actually match up. Needless to say, I'm glad that I'm done with the sewing of the top part, and now I just need to do the backs. But I was not going to give up on this project, but I'm glad that it's done, and I have 2 things now, and so that was my trip around the world. The other thing I worked on, I think I showed you this fabric last month too. When my friend Shirley and I went into Lethbridge, I'd bought some fabric at one of our wholesale fabric stores, kind of. It's called Marshall's. And I bought a panel. So I decided the best way, and I was looking for more fabric like this to match it, but they didn't have any of that. It's an older panel, so they weren't sure what they had of accessory fabrics. But I did find this, and this does match in the panel. So this will just be a wall hanging because I don't like making full-size bed quilts. That's not me. And so it's really cute. I found this gingham check there at Marshall's, and so I got all the borders on that. And then there was another fabric that I bought that I used leftovers from this with that fabric to make the backing. So I just need to, I think I might just do some like stitch in a ditch, or just sew along the lines around the blocks and then around the things, just to make a basic wall hanging out of that. So I got that done. So it was a very productive quilt retreat for me. And so those are some things I got done. I find that I'm really busy and I don't get as much done as I would like to, but when I think about it, I do work 20 hours a week now at the local grocery store, and I love my job. And so that takes up some time. And then I play the piano for a local choir, and we meet on Thursday nights. So that involves practice during the week as well. And I work at our local family history center. It's called Family Search. And so I'm there on Thursday afternoons. And I'm like president of the hospital auxiliary here in Raymond, and I'm vice president of the Raymond Handy Bus, which is the bus for seniors to get them to doctor appointments and things like that. Vice president. And then we started up our book club again, which kind of ended when COVID came around. And so 4 of us met together, and I picked the book because I was the one who suggested we start up again. And the book I picked is this one, The Rosie Project. Somebody said a movie was made out of this. I can't say as I'm too impressed with the book so far, but then again, I'm only up to chapter 5. Okay, that's after a week after the thing has started. And when I was trying to choose a book, a friend of mine had suggested this book called A Night Divided, and this is a scholastic book, probably written on like a junior high level or something like that. It's a novel, but it's about when the Berlin Wall went up and divided East and West Berlin, and how some families were on both sides and how they managed to live. So it's a novel. I have this one by my bed. I read this one at night sometimes when I go to bed I'll do like 1 chapter because they're not very long. So I've been trying to read that book. And then at a friend's house, I saw this book. It's called What Happened to You? Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey. So I ordered that book from the library, and I've been trying to read that as well. This is like some heavier reading. So, but when I sit down on the couch to try to read this, Chevy gets up in my lap, my dog, and then I proceed to read half of a paragraph, and then I fall asleep. So I've got 3 books that I'm trying to read right now, and I've not been making a whole lot of time for reading. So, well, I don't know how that's going to go. If you have any suggestions of some really good books, maybe for a book club, post them in the comments below and let me know, because we all have books that we like to read, and each person picks a book each month. So, but between all of those things, I find that I'm not getting to cross stitch or quilt as much as I would like. So I'm trying to find a balance in there of reading, sewing, cross stitching, working, and life. So, on a positive note, the sun has come out and it has warmed up, and it is slowly melting the ice that's still on the roads. There's still ruts in the middle of the road that you have to drive in, or you slide around on the ice. But it's warming up. You can see the grass in some areas. Pretty soon, hopefully all the sidewalks will be cleaned off. We haven't been able to get out and walk the dog. We used to do that every day. He's getting fat. We're getting fat. So, welcome to February, right? And we just had our anniversary the other day. We celebrated our 15th anniversary and went to the local Chinese restaurant here in town, and that was very good. So, I've been busy, and I'm sure you've been busy too, and I hope that a lot of your busy has been some productive sewing time for you. So besides all that, I have some new starts. I know last month I talked about not wanting to start too many new things, but one of the things that I had planned to start this year was the 12 Prairie Schooler Santas of the years that my children were born. And so one of my sons was born in 1987. So this year I plan to sew 7 Santas, one in celebration of each year that my 7 kids were born. And so this is on 32 count linen, natural. And this is all I've gotten done so far of the 1987 Santa. I find that I'm stitching this one in hand. I'm not even putting it in a hoop. Most of my projects anymore, I just put in wooden hoops. I have not caught on with the Q-snap method, but if you like it, let me know. And, you know, I've watched a few handworkmaniac. Brenda from Utah has, I don't know how many Q-snaps for all her whips, and she just loves them. And so I'm a big fan of hers. I watch her floss tubes a lot. But this one is a stitch in hand, so I like it so far. I plan to do them all on this fabric, and so I have it planned out. This is a yearly tracker, but I planned what year I'm doing this and what month. Normally I want to try to start them on the months that my children were born in that year. But I have 2 in June. So one I'm going to start in May and one I'm going to start in June. One son in July. And then I have 2 children in September. So I'm starting one of those in August and one of those in September. And my youngest daughter was born in October. So I plan to do 7 of these. One each month, and I'm not too far yet on the February one. I had to switch a few floss colors to stand out more against my linen. So, and these papers I've shown these last month too, are from an Etsy shop, and it's called SWardDesigns. So she's got a yearly tracker. I have another one that I'm going to write out all the whips and projects that I have. And then there's a card for each year. I bought a 5-year plan. So 2022 is here, 2023 is here, 24, 25, and 26. Heaven forbid if it's going to take me that long to do that, which might be a couple of the projects that I have. Anyway, I'll mention that in my notes below. So that was a new start, and in keeping with the goals that I have for this year. Another new start is my ABCs of Aging Artfully by Lizzie and Kate. And let me show you the picture here. Okay, so I've changed all the floss colors to match my color palette here in my home. And my goal is to do 2 letters a month, 2 alphabet letters and the saying that goes with them. And then it'll take me like 13 months in order to complete it. I find that I want to sew on it more than that, but I have to remind myself that I have different projects that I'm trying to work on. So I have to like pace myself and just when I finish the letters for that month, just be done. If you hear crying, it's my dog, Chevy, down here on the floor. The cat doesn't like him and he's trying to play with her through the curtain. Anyway, this is what I have done so far on the ABCs of Aging Artfully. This is on 16 count fiddler's cloth. And I am enjoying this stitch. So far I've gotten Ignore Convention. I'm halfway through Jiggle Jello. mend fences, and part of this one is on the end of the first line, or the line previous says laugh. It's the L. Laugh at yourself. Chevy, what's wrong? What's wrong, puppy? Go lay down. Go lay down. So, that was a new start this month. I was from my plans last month, so I'm a little behind on this one, but I plan to catch up. And this is my classic stitchy ornaments by Erica Arndt from Erica Made Designs. So there's 12 quilt blocks that are in cross stitch form, and I plan to do one of those a month. But these are very small stitches. So my goal, I had to get the rest of the threads together that I wanted to use for this. And I'm doing them on, I don't know where it is, but it's like a 14 count, kind of off-white, sort of a vanilla looking Aida cloth. So that's upcoming. The other whips that I worked on is If Any of You Lack Wisdom, which is a design from Yvette Ungrick, crossstitch.com. And so this isn't a very big piece. And I hope to maybe finish that this month for my husband's birthday in March. But this is what I've got done so far. It's about half finished. And this is on a 14 count Aida too. It's just like an off-white. This is mainly my Sunday stitch. So I enjoy working on that then. And maybe 1 or 2 nights during the week, I might work on it a little bit as well. So, and the other whip that I've really been working on a lot, so if you go back and look at last month, this is my temperature tree by this, or no, that's not. That was 2021 I did the temperature tree. This is Temperature Butterflies by the stitchinmommy. And my butterflies are completely finished through August. I've just a couple left on September, and then as we get into the colder months, it gets more blue, green, purple again. And so I only have about 50 days left to finish this. And then I have to put the antennas on each of my butterflies. But this was the high temperatures every day in 2022. I really enjoyed this. Some year I might, work at it again and just see how the two compare, right? So this one's getting closer to being finished, so I've been working on that quite a lot. So that's mainly what I've been working on this month. I have worked a little bit on my snowman. I think I've done some of the blue and a little bit of his hat. And basically what I should do is like do 1 length of thread on him every day to get him finished. He's just an ongoing thing. So I've looked at a few other of my whips, works in progress in my sewing room, but they haven't quite made it back out into rotation. But I do plan to get some of them out. Someday maybe I'll just make a video of all my whips. I have a lot. For someone who doesn't want to start too many things because I want to finish, I've got a lot of things on the go. So, yeah. Now for haul, I've been getting some quilting things. So this is called the Colorado Block by the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Someone had that at the quilt retreat, so I snapped that up. It uses 10-inch squares. This is what it looks like all together. To me, it kind of reminds me of like a buzzsaw. So anyway, I like that. So that was one of the things I got at the quilt retreat. And then another new project, a friend of mine across the street had gotten this pattern online and showed it to me. This is what it is. This is the picture of it as quilted. It's called Friendship Rings. It says that it's an intermediate pattern, and it's by Liz Porter of Fawns and Porter. And I bought this online at quiltingdaily.com. Anyway, this is what it looks like when it's completely done. And it's got some great, leaves around the outside that are like string pieced. And I figured that I would do this using up a lot of my scraps. So smaller scraps I've sewn together. The blocks or the strips are anywhere between 1 inch and 2.5 inches wide. And then you sew them together. They get straightened off, and then you sew an equal strip of white on top. And then from there you cut the blocks down. Anyway, so I've got my sewing room is still a mess because now I've just been cutting new strips and sewing older strips together. And so I've started this project. Here is one of my lengths, and then you cut them apart every 3.5 inches to make the blocks. So I'll keep you up to date on how that's going, but that's my latest quilting project that I'm working on. And so we'll put that up here. And I think my friend Shirley's going to do this as well, but she's right now finishing a Christmas quilt that she made that's got like little bears that she hand quilted. They're printed on fabric, and now she's making squares and sewing them all together with sashing and things like that. So Shirley's been busy. Upcoming. Oh, yeah, I did show you that one. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get my stitchy ornaments started. I'm gonna keep working on my February Santa. The other day on Instagram, I saw that her name is Caroling55 on Instagram, and she has a stitch along, which is, it's called the hashtag sign 12 in 23 ornament stitch along. I'll make note of that down here below. But that's for people who want to obviously do a cross stitch ornament each month in 2023. So I've got, 1 or 2 things that fall into that category. So I'm following her and working on that. So, the other thing I got for haul, I just got these yesterday, but they don't say that they are for fabric, but they're double-ended permanent markers, colored markers. And so I'm going to be working these on some fabric, like kitchen towel. Instead of sewing the embroidery on, we're going to try it with some fabric markers, some permanent markers, and some paints. My friend Cynthia is coming over this afternoon, and we're going to work on those for the hospital auxiliary and see how those turn out. Do a little experimenting. Freebies. Well, I was supposed to do this on February 1st, which I saw this online. This is called Groundhog Day. It's a Bent Creek pattern. It's free. It's from years ago. I don't know when, but if you go on Pinterest and you just type in Groundhog Day, this will come up, which I thought was really cute if you want to make a little groundhog ornament, whether he sees his shadow or not. So that's one freebie. I'm going to do that because I kind of, down in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, we have Punxsutawney Phil, right, in Philadelphia. And so that's always been February 2nd every year to see whether he sees his shadow or not. So I'm going to do a little Groundhog Day. I'll probably turn it into a little pillow to put in my tiered tray. The other freebies I have for you today, this one's called Filled with Love by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting.blogspot.com. I could just stay busy working all her patterns. Never buy another pattern and I'd be busy a lot. So this is what it is. It's filled with love and it's a house. And on this, it's got a heart cross stitched into the side. So that's called Filled with Love. And then she mentioned also this pattern. This is by SilverCreek Samplers. And it is just this year's pattern. It is called Do Everything in Love. So I just went on to Pinterest and typed in, well, no, I don't think I did that even. I followed a link from Pinker and Pumpkin. But I thought this one was really cute. Just great for Valentine's Day. Do Everything in Love by SilverCreek Samplers. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. Maybe you could tell me how you balance out your time to be organized and to get things done. I find that I spend a lot of time on the computer. So I think if I cut back that, I would have more sewing time. And also, I need to get a new chair for my sewing room to sit at my sewing machine. So tell me where you've gotten your chairs, if you have a sewing chair, and what you like about it, because I'm probably going to be looking to get another one, sometime within the next few months. So anyway, my sewing machine is out. My cross stitch is out. Oh, my husband got me it's a lamp. I'll show it to you next month. A friend of mine has it. She uses it for doing her quilting or her knitting. And it's rectangular, the light, and it's a magnifying, and it's got a light. And I thought, oh, that's great. So I'm probably going to put that up in my sewing room for if I sit back there in my chair to work on my cross stitch. But I'll show you that next month. So anyway, February is a short month, so you have less time to cross stitch. So stay busy, stay warm. Let's keep those people in Turkey and in Syria in our minds and in our prayers. They're going through so much over there right now. And I know I feel blessed to live where I live. And let's all share what we have and think of others. Okay, so I'll see you next month. Bye.